Hmm.
So sorry, my Zoom kicked me out as we joined the live stream.
That's okay.
So we should be live on YouTube now, and everyone should be able to see us. So, hi, my name is Anna Pepperdine, and I'm the nutrition consultant for Choices Market at our Kelowna location. My team and I offer complimentary nutrition education in our stores across BC, which you can book through our website. I would also like to mention for those that have attended this seminar that you are eligible for a nutrition buck, which is a $10 off choices coupon when you spend $50 or more. A survey link will be sent out to you at the end of the seminar, and you'll have to select your preferred store location where you can come and collect this nutrition box, and you will have 30 days to do this. So I'd like to introduce our speaker today, who's Erin Ashley, and she is the founder of the Erin Wellness Supplements. She's also a holistic nutritionist, keynote speaker, and #1 best-selling author. The mission of Erin Wellness is to empower women with holistic health. Her female-focused support supplements are a result of 20 plus years of personal experience with hormonal imbalance, weight management, stress, and sleep issues. In December 2021, Erin Wellness was featured on CBC's Dragon's Den for the cutting-edge use of QR codes on her labels used to educate and support women on their wellness journey. She resides in Vancouver, BC, with her daughter and 2 poodles. And before we begin, I would like to ask if you have any questions, you can enter that in the chat, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for doing such a wonderful intro and hosting tonight and being here as my
No
co-pilot.
problem.
And thank you for Choices again for supporting Erin Wellness, a female-owned brand, also having me in their stores and giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. And of course, thank you to every single one of you who is streaming in and watching tonight or watching at a later date. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. Perimenopause is very dear to my heart as I am definitely in the throes of it. And tonight we're going to be talking about navigating perimenopause. So a little bit about who I am. You kind of heard a bit, but my name is Erin Ashley. I'm the CEO of Erin Wellness. I am a holistic nutritionist. I have other designations as well. I have a podcast called The Friends You Keep. So I welcome you to sign up and listen to it. It's on Apple. I'm a top 100 health and wellness influencer. I have a #1 book on Amazon called Bulimia to Balance. I have 4 fast-paced mom cookbooks with my daughter. And I had a wellness radio show out in Vancouver for about 3 or 4 years. But I've been in the supplement space and wellness space for 25 years, which seems so odd to say. But before we kind of get into the perimenopause conversation, I really want to take you a little bit back and give you a history on who I am. About 12 years ago, I had a personal health crisis. I was overtired, overworked, overstressed. I had no libido, and I had a pretty good looking younger boyfriend. So it wasn't him, it was me. My cycles were debilitating. My metabolism had pretty well stopped responding. I was entering early perimenopause. And I really struggled to get sleep through the night. And I think a lot of us, if we were able to have a conversation back and forth, some of you would be nodding to these things. And what's interesting enough, when I reflect back growing up, health and wellness was always really kind of based on the size of my pants. I was put in Weight Watchers at a very young age. I was homeschooled because I was bullied for being a bigger kid. And so it was always how I looked on the outside or how things fit that really garnered how I was in the world, how my health was. But when I came to this health crisis, I was like, wait a second, I've got to do something different. I had a real aha moment. It wasn't just my pant size anymore. I was not feeling and living my best life. I was giving advice to women. I was in the industry. I was a coach. I was in the supplement industry as well, but I was not necessarily living my best life. So when I took a step back and I began to look what true holistic health meant to me, and I began to look at a more mind, body, spirit approach, not only nutrition, because that's a very important factor. We're going to be talking about that tonight, but looking at my rest time, my movement, my beliefs, my emotions, my thoughts were a really big part of that. What my purpose is in life, my strengths, my passions, all of these things together really became my my pillars in which I use now. I use in my coaching practice. I use now personally in my own life. And I also now use in my brand, Erin Wellness. And they are the thoughts you think, the friends you keep, daily movement, nutrition, and supplementation. And the reason I bring this up tonight is because this is also really how we're going to be going through this conversation. You're going to see how this webs and weaves through our conversation tonight on perimenopause. So tonight, our topics of discussion are what is perimenopause, the stages of perimenopause, supporting your body, looking at nutrition, nervous system, your adrenal, circadian rhythms, nutrition, movement, reducing those risk factors and what that looks like when you do so, and then supplementation. So we can't really have dialogue back and forth, but I'm going to say these questions because usually I have a live audience. So can you make changes now to make your transition easier? Yes or no? I think we're going to say yes. This is why we're here tonight, because we know there's things we can do. Perimenopause only lasts 2 to 3 years. No, perimenopause is the big show. Perimenopause lasts, it can start early 30s, sometimes mid 30s, but usually late 30s to early 50s. Menopause is 1 year after your final bleed. So perimenopause is actually where everything's really going on, and menopause seems to get all the glory. What worked for you at 20 will work for you now? Definitely not. And I think if you're a wine drinker like myself, I know I definitely can't drink wine the way I did when I was 20. It doesn't feel the same. Supporting my stress levels can impact my hormones. 100% yes. And PMS issues go away once you stop bleeding. No, they don't, right? They can still be there. So I really love this next little slide because I think a lot of us, and I know myself, really resonated with this. One day you're raving to the 90s tunes, and the next day you're going through perimenopause and sitting on the edge of your bed like this. I think we all must have had moments like that. We were like, what is going on? So what is perimenopause? So perimenopause is known as the second puberty. Now, ironically enough, I have a daughter in my household who's 15 and going through puberty herself. So it's great fun, both of us in puberty right now. But it's really known as the second puberty. And this transition from regular cycles to eventually no menstrual cycle at all, which will then put us more into menopause. And during perimenopause, the ovaries begin to slow down production of estrogen and progesterone. Now, those are the main sex hormones in women. Production occurs in the ovaries, adrenal glands, and during pregnancy in the placenta. So some of the symptoms of perimenopause are period changes, hot flashes and night sweats, mood changes, vaginal dryness, sleep problems, and weight changes as well. So as I mentioned before, late 30s and 40s, progesterone production begins to decline. So we have that progesterone, that's what protects us from the highs and lows of estrogen. So progesterone begins to decline. And even when we have regular periods, so although you might be in your late 30s and you're like, my periods are still pretty regular, we're making less progesterone. And that's what really protects us from the highs and lows of estrogen. So when we have those fluctuating highs and lows of estrogen, that's what can cause more PMS symptoms, such as irritable mood, breast pain, heavy periods. 80% of women are estrogen dominant, which means we have an abundance of estrogen in our body. And that can come from xenoestrogens, from the makeup, the skincare, the cleaners that we use. It can come from stress is another big one for excess estrogen in the body. It can come from birth control. It can also come from the foods we're eating as well. And so really looking at the fact we need to support our body to flush out or get rid of that excess estrogen in the system. So then we're having lower progesterone, but we have way too much estrogen. So it's really imbalanced. And then the time we have lower progesterone, that affects irregular cycles. So that means you'll have a shorter cycle. You'll go, maybe the duration between your bleeds is shorter, or it's longer, or you have spotting, you have sleep problems, hot flashes, anxiety. A lot of people start really, I know I've experienced more anxiety, have second guessing their decisions they're making, brain fog, loss of libido. It sounds like so much fun. Memory, UTIs are more prevalent, urinary tract infection, bacterial vaginosis, and yeast infection are actually more prevalent. It's estrogen and lactic acid together that makes that lactobacilli in the vaginal area that makes it nice and acidic. One of the products that we have in my company is a product called Up and Away. It is boric acid. If you are somebody who is dealing with bacterial vaginosis or yeast infections, that means your pH balance is too high. You can definitely go pick up this. It is in Choices. They do have this product. It's amazing. It's a suppository, works like a charm. So this is something you definitely want to take a look at. What we also need to understand is progesterone stimulates the production of GABA. So we look at the sleep issue component of it. That actually helps our body produce more GABA, which calms our nervous system down. This is what makes us stay up more when we don't have enough progesterone in our system. And if you are having sleep issues, I'll talk a little bit about supplements in the end, but I'm just going to kind of touch on certain ones as we go through it. A couple of the supplements that we've got for sleep, we've got Snooze. Choices has this one as well. This is our melatonin-free sleep support product. So I'm going to touch more on this one as we go. But if you are somebody struggling with sleep, this is a fantastic product to have. We have another product, but I don't believe Choices has that one. So we're just going to stick with Snooze. So then 1 year after your final period, ta-da, you are in menopause. Now, the reason perimenopause is so important, and one of the reasons I'm very passionate about just talking about this, is it's a really critical window for our health. And if anybody here remembers Romper Room, you have the mirror, and I see Billy, I see Bobby looking through. You know, this is a real opportunity for us to stand back and take stock of our health and wellness. I tell my daughter, I was in the car with my daughter and her girlfriends and talking to them about how they need to use their period as their monthly report card. Of course, my daughter was mortified, but it really is true. So this is an opportunity for us to use that period that we're getting. If we're having a really symptomatic period, if we're really cramping, if we're really heavy bleeding, take a look at your month before. What was going on? What stress levels were going on? Were you going to the bathroom? Another way estrogen comes out of the body is through our poop. Were you drinking water? Did you work out? What was going on to make you have a really symptomatic period? So really utilizing and using these periods as your guideposts. And when we think about if we're getting ill in the summer, in the winter time, like right now, if you start to get the sniffles, not feeling very good, we're going to take some extra vitamin D. We're probably going to maybe get some, maybe have some bone broth, really support our gut health, maybe some glutamine as well. Look at ways in which we elderberry, Flu Force, or some other great products on the market, but looking at how we can support our body if we feel we're getting sick. If we're having really symptomatic periods, we need to look at this as an opportunity to be able to look at how the future is going to play out. If this continues, what's going to happen to us? And we're going to talk about that tonight. So really looking at this as clues, as a way to step in to be able to take ownership on our health and wellness as the future progresses. So when do we start supporting our bodies? Well, I'm going to say most of us on the call, I can't see you all, but I'm going to say most of you immediately after puberty. I think most of us are probably entering our second puberty right about now. But if you have young girls in your household, this is a real opportunity to talk to them about their periods. Make them feel that they can come and talk to you if they're having symptomatic periods, really looking what's going on. We want to cycle as long as we can. What we need to understand is the healthier cycles we have, we're not experiencing super bad PMS, super bad or not PMS, sorry, super bad PMS. We're not experiencing PMS. We're going to have a smoother transition. And PMS is not normal. Having really painful periods is not a normal thing. Symptomatic cycles means you're going to have more PMS problems, but a healthy ovulatory cycle will decrease your risk of dementia, heart disease, and increase your life expectancy as well. So I know a lot of the time when, I listen to a lot of people talk and it's all about be present right now. And we do definitely want to be present in our body right now, but we really want to think of the things that are going on are going to affect us when we're 70 and 80. I have two parents. I obviously have two parents, but my mom and my dad, I'm taking care of both of them. I take care of my dad right now, sorry, but my mom has aged really well. My mom has made very conscious choices in her lifestyle, and my dad has not. And I take care of my dad, and he has dementia. And it's been a very clear indication for me as how I want to age. And this is another reason why I'm really passionate about this topic, because we can make the choices now and the steps and strategies we're going to be talking about tonight that we can make these changes so we can live a healthy, happy, vital senior life. So healthy estrogen levels maintain heart and brain health. Estrogen really is kind of like our life force, right? It's going to enhance insulin sensitivity. So how your body responds to sugar, support healthy metabolism as well. And then also one of the things you can do, we have, and I'm going to talk more about it as we go through, but when we're looking at supporting ourselves, through making sure we're ovulating, a great product is Reclaim. This is my favorite child of my brand. I'm going to talk in depth a little bit more about that afterwards. But some of the ways you can also support ovulation is be mindful of over-exercising, keep your blood sugar balanced, which is super important. Don't skip on the carbohydrates. Make sure you're eating more balanced meals. I've worked with women for years who are in weight loss, and whenever you start fully pulling food out of your diet, you're going to fall back and you're going to usually take them back in, right? Restriction doesn't really work. Finding more balance and prioritizing stress reduction techniques is a great way to support ovulation. So this leads us to stress, the conversation of stress. So our nervous system, circadian rhythm, and HPA axis, which is your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So when we have lower progesterone, when that progesterone starts going down, which it naturally does, and estrogen can do a number to your brain and nervous system, and it really forces it to recalibrate, to adapt. And if we think about when we're younger, let's pretend we put there's a great analogy on one of the podcasts I listened to. And it's, she says, you're putting a CD you're putting a tape cassette into the tape cassette, and it works all the time. And all of a sudden you're older and you're trying to jam a CD in there. Well, it's not going to work. We really need to think we are very different now. We're at a different point in our lives, and treating ourselves that way. And learning to build health and resilience of the nervous system can help with a smooth transition. So learning how to support ourselves with stress and dealing with stress is going to help us down the future. So a well-functioning HPA axis is key to hormonal balance. It influences DHEA, testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Dysregulation, so not handling stress well and constantly being in fight or flight, having your cortisol ramped up all the time, can lead to insulin and also abdominal weight gain. And it's also a huge factor in sleep and hot flashes as well. So if we look here it's to me on my left side, I think it might be onto your right side. When you look on the stress side, so your pupils are expanded, fast, shallow breaths, your heart's pumping fast, your gut is inactive. I think we all can resonate with that. When we've had some big thing happen, our heart starts going and we're just like, right, we're kind of freaking out, that fight or flight mode. Mind you, when we're in a calm state, our pupils shrink, slow, deep breaths, our heart slows down, and our gut is active. It's relaxed, right? It's like, oh, okay. And one of the big things when we look at stress and learning how to deal with stress is thoughts. So this is my very first pillar of Air Wellness, the thoughts you think. And I tell people all the time, you can take all the stress support in the world and all the ashwagandha, which is a great adaptogen to help your body deal with stress. But if you are not controlling your thoughts, you're still going to be really stressed. If you're really fear-based and you're really angry, you're still going to be a very stressed person. So every thought releases a brain chemical. So as you're listening to me right now, whatever your thoughts may be, hopefully you're enjoying this, whatever your thoughts may be, it's releasing different brain chemicals. Like how our bodies are so incredible. And if we think negative thoughts, it will zap our brain of its positive forcefulness. It slows it down, and it actually dims your brain's ability to function and can even create depression. Like, think of how powerful it is, just the thoughts. On the flip side, when we're thinking positive, happy, hopeful, optimistic, joyful thoughts, that decreases cortisol, which is that stress hormone that gets released when we're in fight or flight or when we're stressed. And it produces serotonin, which is kind of that feel-good hormone. And that creates a sense of well-being. So simply by changing the way we think, and that's free. So sometimes it takes work though. So change your language, change your thoughts. So cognitive behavioral therapy is thoughts create feelings, which create actions or no actions, right? So it's used widely in menopause as an effective treatment for hot flashes and night sweats. And studies have shown, so these aren't just somebody saying it, studies have shown, and I totally believe this one too, that women who viewed menopause in a negative terms, guess what? They had a more negative experience in menopause. That makes total sense, right? So really choosing to catch those thoughts when they're showing up, not only just about menopause, but also about all the things going on in our life, and really understanding how much that's going to affect our day-to-day functioning and how our health will be in the future. One of the things I do every morning is before I get up and touch my phone, even though I'm definitely want to pick up that telephone and look at stuff and see what's going on, I lay in bed and I do a thing called forward thinking, forward gratitude. And I thank the universe or all that be for all that I have and all that I am. And I give thanks for the opportunity to do what I do and do what I love. I give thanks for all of you showing up tonight and hoping that you're able to walk away with something that I'm talking about and use that and apply it to your life and make some changes. But I work a lot with affirmations, and I start my day off with it every single day. And it's really important to me. And I really welcome you tomorrow morning when you're laying in bed, before you jump out of the bed, give yourself 5 minutes, or not even 5. It can only be 3, then be 3. And just lay there and really just land in a state of gratitude. It's the best way to start the day. Another way to deal with stress is create mindfulness in your day, focus on positive. A gratitude journal is a great thing, and work towards a goal as well. All the things you can do to help with stress. Now, another thing that's free is breathing. Like, who knew? So breathing impacts every aspect of your life. We don't think about it. We're just breathing, we're just doing, right? But it impacts sleep, digestion, movement, mental well-being, disease, and recovery. It has life-changing potential, and it's simple and it's free and it's available to everybody. Right. So it really involves shifting your breathing pattern that can positively impact both your physical and emotional state. I caught myself, I read another book called Breathe, and just where you're not really paying attention, you're just kind of like, and all of a sudden it's like, oh gosh. So we're going to do a little exercise, and I can't see you. And usually I have the audience with me doing this together. So if you can sit up with me, and I welcome you to start doing this throughout your day, whenever you're dealing with something stressful, or maybe make this a practice before you go into work in the morning. If you're sitting in your car, sit up straight, cross your arms across your chest, place your palms on either side of your rib cage. Without straining or pushing, we're going to breathe in through your nose until you can't take any more air in, and hold it for 5 seconds, and then slowly breathe out of your mouth. So let's all give that a try. Really just let go of all the stress, everything that happened today. You are here, you're here to learn, and I appreciate you spending time with me. Let's do one more. You can do one more if you even like, but it really just, right? Really getting that air, that oxygen right to the tippy tips of your fingers, really breathing it all in, expanding your lungs. And the reason I'm doing this is because clinical trials have found that 15 minutes of breath work twice a day reduces hot flashes, reduces PMS symptoms and headaches, and improves mood, stress tolerance, and sexual function. So, thoughts you think and breathe. Those are two things you can do very easily starting tonight and tomorrow morning. So, now we're going to jump into nutrition. So anabolic means to build. Anabolic resistance basically means we're not building as much. And this is one of the things that ends up happening as we enter perimenopause. We develop blunted stimulation of muscle protein synthesis. That's through diet, through the protein intake. We're not taking in enough protein, and exercise. Maybe we're not lifting as heavy anymore. Maybe we're not going to the gym as much as we should. That leads to a decline in skeletal muscle mass. What we need to understand is the more lean muscle we have, the longer we're going to live and the faster our metabolism is going to be. We also have decreased digestive efficiency. Our body's not breaking down nutrients the same way it did. I don't know if many of you found I have developed certain intolerances for things that I just can't have anymore. And I have to be careful on some of the things I eat. When I travel, I try to still kind of have a consistent food plan that I keep. Decreased insulin sensitivity. So, how our body responds to insulin, how our body responds to the sugar that we're eating, decreases as well. We have a higher risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. We have blood sugar imbalance, lower carb tolerance as well. And so, these are all really important issues to look at. And we're going to talk more about insulin resistance in these down in the talk. But one of the things you can do is we have another product I'm going to talk about a little later. We have a product called So Harmonious, and Choices carries this one as well. We made this product. It helps with glucose metabolism support. It's a powder. It's delicious. It's butterscotch. I have it every night. I'm going to have it when I'm off this call. It's made a profound difference in my life, helps me sleep through the night, helps with my stress. And I'm going to talk more about it in the future, but it really helps with glucose metabolism, supporting, making sure you're staying on that nice even keel with your blood sugar. So ideally, we really want to look at, and I have 30 grams here, but if I'm really honest with you, aim for 40. You're going to fall probably around the 30 mark. This is typically, if you're going for 30, a 4-ounce animal protein. This in protein, and I tell women to eat protein, and a lot of the time, like, I eat my protein. You're not eating enough, I promise you. It's going to stimulate when you have protein with every single meal. That needs to be the new star of your plate is protein. That's going to stimulate that muscle protein synthesis. That's going to preserve that lean muscle tissue. Because right now, right, you're developing anabolic resistance. One of the things you can do easily, protein. It's going to support your metabolism. It's going to provide your body with amino acids. This can come in many different forms, be it a protein powder, Greek yogurt. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, there's many great choices you can have as well. Really making sure you're having protein with every single meal. You always want to make sure you're including high fibers produce and whole food carbohydrates. We want to be mindful of the carbohydrates you're eating per sitting. When I was younger, I used to, you get your plate from your mom, be like pasta, and then you'd have greens and a little bit of protein. I tend to have like I have my greens and I have some of my, my good cruciferous, I definitely have my cruciferous vegetables, but I'll have maybe some sweet potatoes or those kind of healthy carbohydrates. But then I have protein. Protein is always kind of the real star of my show, or star of my plate. And then I'll have my healthy fats and whatnot. For looking at stabilizing blood sugar, one of the things you can do, eat your greens first, then followed by your protein, and then your starches last. That will help stabilize blood sugar. And really prioritize cruciferous vegetables. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but cruciferous vegetables is one of the way your body detoxifies excess estrogen. So we talked about how we have excess estrogen in our system. One of the great ways you can do and support your body with that is cruciferous vegetables. Our product Reclaim, which is my favorite child, has 400 milligrams of broccoli sulforaphane in here. We also have DIM in here as well, but the broccoli sulforaphane helps your body detoxify excess estrogen. We have a bunch of other ingredients in here I'll go over. Great support product as well, because a lot of the time it's really challenging to get all of that cruciferous vegetables in. We want to prioritize healthy fats to support our nervous system, really looking at whole foods, minimally processed, and then really looking at anti-inflammatory nutrition. Estrogen tends to be more inflammatory. So really looking at supporting ourselves with anti-inflammatory nutrition as well. One of the little side notes, things that I do usually on a Sunday, I'll make a bunch of food. So I'll have a flat of not flat, but a Tupperware container of grilled ground turkey. And then I'll do, because then we can make tacos and all sorts of things with it. Then I have one of chicken breast and one of some meat and one of some fish. And I have those all in the fridge. And then I do some pastas, or I do some brown rice, or those kind of things. And I always buy frozen broccoli, because I'm that person who will buy it fresh and then it just goes bad. So I buy it frozen, I cook it on a Sunday, and I have it always in the fridge so we can come home and make our meals really fast. If I'm not here, my daughter can have it. Research has always shown as well, if young girls start having cruciferous vegetables when they're younger, it's going to help with estrogen detoxification as they get older, probably because they're going to keep eating those cruciferous vegetables because it becomes a habit when they're younger. So we always have broccoli and all those wonderful cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, kale in our fridge. So other things to support blood sugar regulation is minimize snacking. I was also somebody who used to have 6 meals a day. I used to do fitness competitions way back when. So I used to have all those little small meals. I can't do those anymore. I crash too much. Every time our body takes food in, it actually is work for our body. It stresses our body out. Our cortisol levels go up. So in that, really looking at having more 3 meals a day and getting rid of the snacking. Stay hydrated, drink your water, drink a lot of water, eat in a relaxed state. A lot of women who have gut dysbiosis or gut issues, one of the simple things you can also do that really will help, eat in a relaxed state. We tend to just be like this all the time. I think that's why women tend to be more constipated than men. We have 30 centimeters more small intestine, but still, I think we tend to be like this. That's why we tend to be more constipated. That's also probably why we have more gut issues, because we're just really tense. That's why that breathing exercise is good. So if you are really experiencing a symptomatic transition, if you're having super heavy PMS, all those things we kind of talked about, some of the things you can look at doing is eliminating certain food groups, taking gluten out. That can disrupt your immune system, digestive and nervous functioning as well. So try to take it out for a couple of weeks, maybe throw in one ingredient and see how your body responds. Dairy, if you're experiencing really heavy periods, painful periods, or diarrhea and loose stool, take dairy out and see what happens then. Or high histamine foods. So histamine can activate mast cells, and that can lead to insomnia and mood issues. So histamine stimulates the ovaries to release more estrogen. So histamine can also, histamine or foods can be alcohol, a lot of fermented foods, avocado, dark chocolate, unfortunately. So really looking at pulling some of those things back and seeing how your body responds to that. If you're somebody who has a glass of wine every single night and you can't sleep, take the wine out, my friends. You'll notice a difference. Processed sugar and highly processed foods. And I think that kind of goes without saying, really looking, if you can't read the label, it makes no sense. And they got a lot of ingredients in there that you can't pronounce. It's probably a good reason not to have it in your fridge. So alcohol, I did just touch on that. Don't shoot the messenger, because I do love my wine, but I definitely know my body does not respond the same way as it did, or to recover the same way as it did when I was younger. It can be really problematic during perimenopause. If you are somebody who is not sleeping well through the night and you are having wine, I'm telling you, cut your wine out. It can impact your sleep. It reduces melatonin. So melatonin is the hormone your body produces to get you in that calm, rested state. So you really need to have melatonin. Your body needs to be producing that. It can disrupt your circadian rhythm and impact your hot flashes. So if you're experiencing hot flashes, cut your wine. It also can impact the gut microbiome and activate mast cells, right? And histamine, right? We talked about that just the slide before. It can impact maintenance and development of healthy muscle and bones. It impairs estrogen metabolism. So you really want your body to do its job and metabolize excess estrogen. It can impair that ability. It can increase fibroid and breast cancer. It can shrink the hypothalamus, and which regulates the HPA axis and stress response system. So having a glass of wine every now and then, or having a drink every now and then, of course, we want to be able to enjoy ourselves if that's something you like. But if you were finding you were having really symptomatic hot flashes, maybe start cutting out the wine, maybe take a look at cutting out the alcohol and see how your body is responding to that. So movement, I am a huge fan of movement for women. I wish I could see your hands at this point. I always ask everybody, how many people here lift weights? And we usually get spotty. And if you're not lifting weights, if you're not moving your body, maybe this is why you're here tonight, to hear me say this to you. You need to be moving your body. You need to be developing that lean muscle tissue. It is going to be so imperative as you get older. It's going to help with your bone density. It's going to support insulin sensitivity. It's going to reduce inflammation and supports weight management. And you know what? You kind of feel badass when you're in the gym and you lift some heavy weights. And if you're feeling a little lost in the gym, there's some fantastic apps with great workouts. You could pay a trainer if you really needed to kind of take you through something, but there is fantastic apps. You can stay at home and buy some weights, bands, whatever you need to do. Make sure you're doing some weight bearing exercises. We want to be mindful, though, however, with cortisol regulation. So if you are super stressed, you've got lots going on in your life, maybe don't go do a HIIT workout. Maybe go do something, go for a walk, do a yoga class, but movement and moving your body is really important. And at different times of the month, you can vary your training. I do a talk called Biohacking Your Cycle, where we really look at all the phases of a woman's cycle and how in each different phase, there's different things that work best for us movement wise. For example, when we're just finishing our period and we're going into our follicular phase, that's our estrogen's a little bit lower. So if you want to try something new, you're less prone to injuries. But once you're in your ovulation, that's when your estrogen's at its highest with testosterone. You can be a little more prone to injury because estrogen is inflammatory. So at different phases of the month, you might want to be doing different things. So you can tune in and find out when I do that talk. Just visit my website. I'll be doing that talk soon sometime. Resistance training helps build lean muscle tissue. It improves hot flashes, cognition, and brain health. If you're somebody who wants to go walking, walking's great. Grab a girlfriend. Women are great for that. Go for a walk. You're going to have stress relief by talking, and you're also going to get some great cardiovascular in there. It's going to aid in blood sugar regulation, support weight management, and reduce stress. If you are somebody who's struggling for some motivation, we have a product called Lose It. Lose It's a fantastic product. It has about 1.5 cups of coffee in it. I take it every day before I go to the gym. I use it for a pre-workout. My mother, who is 72, uses it before pickleball. So you can use it just for a motivation, or you can use it to also help support metabolism. And Choices does carry that product as well. So some other support tips: get that morning light and evening dark. So I know it's kind of hard right now because when I wake up at 6 in the morning, there's not much light, to be honest with you. But usually in the summer, when I open up my windows here, I let that natural sunlight come in. So getting outside, limiting that blue light first thing in the morning, really getting protein first. I mean, a lot of women who will have oatmeal first thing in the morning and with berries. Protein, either a protein smoothie, or if you're really wanting to have that oatmeal, put a scoop of protein powder in there and mix it up, some vanilla protein powder, some cinnamon. It's delicious. So really making sure you're getting that protein powder in there, making sure you're getting that protein, because that's going to signal to insulin and to your metabolism to start regulating, right? It's going to help regulate that. Getting outside. I always usually walk to the gym from here, so I get outside first thing. So that's something. Build connections with friends, although we're not all together, we're all here, so we're kind of connecting in a certain way. Breath work, as we talked about, yoga and meditation. So recap, we really looked at the importance of stress support, cognitive behavioral therapy, really looked at gratitude and goals and learning to breathe, remembering to breathe, nutrition, protein, fibrous carbs, vegetables, fats, mindful eating, anti-inflammatory foods, and then looking at our lifestyle as well, resisting alcohol, lifting weights, creating that lean muscle tissue, getting light first thing, and build those social connections are all really, really important. So now we're going to talk about reducing the risk factors. Now you heard me talk about the risk factors if we do not take action now. So now we're going to go into them. So osteoporosis, and usually I ask who has a family member with osteoporosis, but I'm sure in this audience tonight, we're going to have a lot of people raise their hand. My mother has osteoporosis as well. So what we don't recognize or we kind of think about is bone is a living dynamic tissue. And the hormone osteoclastin that is produced by the bones, this hormone produced by the bone regulates that HPA axis, that stress support axis system we were talking about. And that also locks calcium in the bone. Really important to think how interconnected this all is. Estrogen has a very positive impact on bone health. And when it's reduced, when our estrogen starts going down, and especially when you're past menopause, it can really affect your bone density and your bone health. So having lean muscle tissue is a really important way you can support this, and strength training really impacts your bone health, limiting your alcohol and smoking. And vitamin D3, K2 is a great way to support. Magnesium and calcium can also support too. And also looking at your foods that you're having too. So really making sure that you're supporting that bone health. Insulin resistance. So I talked about insulin resistance. So what we need to really remember is our extra fat cells are like little estrogen factories, right? So they promote weight gain by feeding estrogen dominance that causes the symptoms of early perimenopause. So when we near menopause, and particularly we're more prone to insulin resistance, and this is due to the metabolic changes that are happening with estrogen. We're a fluctuating estrogen, right? So we eat food, our body makes insulin, and our cells resist the insulin because we have too much. And then that stores as fat, and predominantly around the midsection. When we're younger, most tends to be hips and butt, boobs and butt. But as we get older, it tends to be around the midsection, right? That cortisol belly, it's kind of called. So one of the things you can do for insulin resistance, I spoke about this, increase your protein intake, protein with every meal. Please take that away tonight and apply that to your life. It's super important. Build muscle tissue, movement, lean muscle tissue, eat low glycemic index foods, have good fats for healthy hormones, balance your meals out, enjoy protein focused breakfast. I mentioned that one too. And then you can also have blood sugar support with So Harmonious, which I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides, which is our blood sugar support product. And then brain health. So we talked a bit about dementia. As I mentioned to you earlier, my father is struggling with dementia and I care for him. And it is pretty, if any, and I'm sure people on the call tonight have family members who have dementia, and it's really eye-opening and scary to think not being able to remember things. And so right now is our opportunity to make steps and choose certain tools or choose certain habits that we're making now that can really positively impact our brain health. You know, and 60% of women, middle-aged women, report difficulty in concentrating and issues with cognition. I kind of mentioned that cassette and CD player issue, right? And these issues spike when we go through menopause, right? With all this hormonal imbalance that's going on. So it causes the brain to drop in energy, and it's necessary to really recalibrate the brain. If done properly, we can set up the brain for great health. And if we don't do it properly, we can be more at risk for dementia. So some of the things we want to do: lean muscle mass, insulin regulation, right? We don't want to have type 2 diabetes, reducing smoking and alcohol, eating whole foods, all the things we've kind of talked about already. Omega-3 fatty acids is another great thing. MCTs, I know Choices carries both of these. That's medium chain triglycerides, can both be really helpful, as well as antioxidants. Learning new activities. As I mentioned, my mother has taught me so well on how to age properly. She takes courses, she plays pickleball, she reads books, she reads the newspaper. She's constantly moving and working her brain to think differently, puzzles, whatever it takes. It's really important as we get older. Another product you can take, which is one of my favorites, is You Remind Me. We have Bacopa in there that helps with cognitive wellness and brain fog. And we also have KSM 66 in there to address stress issues. So I'll be talking about that in the next couple slides. So now we're going to get into support supplements. So we've given you kind of all these tools that you need to put into place. And now I believe there are support supplements that are really fundamental, especially as we're going through perimenopause. And I'm going to share some of my favorites that I love, and they are from Erin Wellness. I work with a team of formulators. And to be honest, a lot of these products were really made for myself because I didn't see things in the market that appealed to me or that I was using that I wanted to use and had the clinical doses I was looking for. So the first one I'm really going to touch on is Reclaim, and Reclaim is my favorite child. This is, I believe, the best perimenopause support product on the market. The feedback we're getting from this product is through the roof. It's going to relieve estrogen imbalance. It alleviates irregular cycles, painful periods, breast pain, moodiness, cravings. Immune support is in here too. It is one a day. If you are severely symptomatic, so some of those really issues I talked, really painful, heavy periods, really tender breasts, really moody, you can take two, but one would be good enough. I usually take one every lunch. So I'm going to go over the ingredients here so you kind of understand why this product is so fantastic. In here, we have calcium deglucarate. Calcium deglucarate supports stage 2 liver detoxification. So it supports your liver. Your liver really is that mother organ. And that's one of the ways that your body is getting rid of that excess estrogen. So we support your liver with this product and with this ingredient. Then we have 2.5 grams of green tea extract. That is designed to stabilize blood sugar, but there's no caffeine in it. So it's 1% caffeine. So I take this at night before bed, no problem sleeping. So it's not a caffeinated form. It helps stabilize blood sugar. So as we talked about the blood sugar with insulin resistance, broccoli sulforaphane, we don't always scan our eyes over because we use extracts. Sorry, there we go. So we have 400 milligrams of broccoli sulforaphane. That's going to help with estrogen detoxification, right? Those cruciferous vegetables. We have DIM in here. DIM helps with PMS, also helps with colorectal, breast, and uterine cancer, helps prevent that. We have resveratrol that acts as a phytoestrogen, which is a good estrogen. Yeah, xenoestrogens, not good. Phytoestrogens are the good estrogen. That's what we want to have. Then in here as well, we have 900 milligrams of lion's mane. So really looking at how we can support brain health, cognition, memory. Then we have turmeric in here, understanding that estrogen can be inflammatory, looking at ways in which we can prevent inflammation in the body by using turmeric and curcumin. We have Vitex in here, which is helps with, it's called chastery as well. It helps with ovulation to keep you on that 28-day cycle. We have wild yam in here, 48 milligrams, that helps with libido, vaginal dryness. We have B6 in here to help with PMS. We have astragalus, is one of the powerful adaptogens that helps your body deal with stress again, and immune boosting, and zinc as well. Fantastic product. It is my favorite. Love this one. So don't tell the other kids, but Reclaim is definitely my favorite. And it is a one a day, as I said. So Choices does carry this product. Next, I've started including this into my regime. So we designed this product back in May. Originally, we designed this product for PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Some of the indications, if you're struggling with PCOS, there's cysts on your ovaries. You can have more facial hair, and acne tend to be a little bit more overset, heavier set in weight, and your cycles aren't regular. You don't ovulate, right? So you're not getting regular periods. And so I worked with a girl who is a nutritionalist, and she has PCOS, and she works with women who have PCOS. And then I brought in my team of formulators, and we looked at creating a product that was really kind of designed for those with PCOS. However, what we really ended up creating was an incredible glucose metabolism support product. And as I mentioned, when we're going through perimenopause, our body's not breaking down nutrients as it once did. It can really affect our blood sugar. So really, this product is not only just for those with PCOS, it's perfect for anybody in perimenopause. My dad has type 2 diabetes. He takes it. My daughter, who's 15, she takes it. So it really has a lot of applications. It has stress support, ovulation support, immune support, and bowel support. So I'm going to go over the ingredients in this one. We have myo-inositol. We have 4 grams. We have a clinical dose of myo-inositol. That's where we get those PCOS claims. That helps the way your body uses insulin. It also helps with natural hormonal balance as well. We have coconut water powder to act as an electrolyte to replenish at a cellular level. We have flaxseed powder that's going to not only help with ovulation and menstruation, but also can help with bowel regularity as well, and gives it a really nice nutty taste. It's a powder, so it tastes like, I get told it tastes like an oatmeal cookie. I make it in almond milk all the time. We have KSM 66 ashwagandha, which is the highest grade ashwagandha you can get on the market. It is the root only, which is what you want. So we have a 5% withanthones, and that's what actually gives it the potency to help your body deal with stress. So ashwagandha helps your body deal with stress. That's why it's called an adaptogen. So we put this product in here. It helps with periods, irregular periods, infertility, depression, and also helps with stress support. Then we have magnesium citrate that helps with heart health, helps with depression, gets you into a better sleep if you need be. We have NAC in here. It's called NAC for short. That helps with insulin, fertility, also helps with immune support. It was very, very popular during COVID to really help with immune support. And it's actually really popular during cold and flu season because it supports the body and supports the immune system. We have zinc to help with skin and to help with acne. We have vitamin C against free radical damage, chromium picolinate to stabilize blood sugar, and vitamin D. We have 1,000 IUs of vitamin D. So it's a really jam-packed product. It has just a scoop inside, one scoop. I usually do like a 3/4 in a nice big glass of almond milk right before bed. I think it's safe to say we all like to do this or eat something sweet before bed. It's the perfect thing. So it's a butterscotch flavor. It's plant-based flavors, and it's made with stevia. It has a little bit of stevia in there, but you don't taste the stevia. So people who don't like stevia are usually pleasantly shocked, unless you have the gene where it tastes like soap or metal, because there is a gene where it can make it, and you're not going to like it then probably if you don't like stevia in that way. So next one is You Remind Me. I'm going to mention this one just because a lot of people really struggle with focus. So with this one, we have 2,700 milligrams of KSM 66, really looking at supporting a stress level. We have Bacopa in here. It's that small little white flower that you sometimes see in your back garden, 1,200 milligrams. That's what helps with clarity and focus. Then we have Hawthorn to support heart health. Number one killer of women is heart disease. So looking how we support the heart. Schisandra to help with energy, astragalus to help with immune support, and B5, which is the anti-stress vitamin. This again, one a day. I really tried to make all our products one a day. I don't want to take 4 pills a day because I take a lot of different pills. So I'd have buckets if I was constantly taking 4 to 6 pills a day. Most cognitive products are 6 a day. This is a one a day. You take it around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, works like a charm. And then last one I'm going to talk about is Snooze. This is our sleep support product. It is melatonin free. There is no melatonin in this product. If you are somebody who is adverse to melatonin, feels groggy in the morning if you have it, this is the product for you. We also really looked at supporting adrenal health. What we know is when we're stressed and our body's producing more cortisol, it affects how our body produces melatonin, right? So that can really disrupt your sleep. So we have adrenal support in here. It helps with sleep quality and also helps with hot flashes. So in this one, we have Hawthorn again, looking at supporting heart health. We have valerian. So we have 1,200 milligrams of valerian in here. That's really going to put you in that nice rested state and feeling calm. We have passion flower. This is the ingredient that helps with hot flashes and night sweats. We have 400 milligrams in this. We have L-theanine, which helps with stress support. So really looking how we can support the body with stress, as I mentioned, with cortisol. Then we've also got in here GABA, and GABA gets you in that nice relaxed state, and magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate. And so we have that one in as well. So that one really puts you in that nice calm state. How I take this product, usually I sleep really well. But if my mind chatter is going and I can't get to sleep, I will take 2 and go right to bed. Don't wake up. Usually I don't need it because usually I sleep through the night. The other night yesterday I was in Victoria speaking at an event, but the night before I didn't have any snooze in my hotel room. I woke up at 1 a.m. My mind started racing. I was like, no. And I had boxes of snooze at the convention center. But nonetheless, if I wake up at 1 or if I wake up at 3, if I wake up at 4, I might not, I'll probably take 1. I usually just stay up if it's after 4 a.m. But if I wake up at 3 in the morning, I'll take 1 or 2, go back to sleep, no sleep hangover. I go to the gym at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, every single day. It's fantastic. So it's one of my favorite products. I travel with it everywhere. And I really want to mention this. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I just realized that thing on the bottom there. I have a Peri-Menopause kit. I'm just going to jump forward through it. And it's these two together. So I take Reclaim and So Harmonious together. So one of the reasons I found that's really made a difference for me is I've been taking Reclaim for a couple of years now. So I take 1 a day at lunch, and in May I added in So Harmonious. And recently I just went and had my lab work done. And if you're on the call tonight and you're wondering if you should get your lab work done, go to your doctor, get your blood panel done, ask him for your lab work. You want to get your testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. You really want to find out your baseline and where you're at. I've been doing that since I was 35. And at 35, I was doing it every 3 years. 35 is when I had my daughter. So I was at my peak. And then I slowly started going down, as I should, right? I'm turning 50 this year. And I went in the other day for my lab work again. And my doctor called me and he said to me, Erin, he goes, what are you taking right now? He goes, are you taking progesterone? And my doctor never calls me. He's been my doctor for 15 years. I'm really lucky to have him. And I said, no, I'm not taking progesterone. And he said to me, your progesterone is at 61, your estrogen's at 360. You've basically done this and you've done this. You're going back up. And he said, so, because we were having a conversation about HRT, and he said, so you don't need HRT at all right now. He goes, right now your hormone levels are really like quite unbelievable. The only thing I have changed is adding So Harmonious to my mix. And so in that, what I can look at is I can look at the insulin regulation. I can also look at the stress support that's in this product. You got the magnesium, the flax. So these two together are really my kind of perimenopause solution. I take them together all the time and it tastes delicious. So I really love it. So I recommend those two together very strongly. And if you have to pick one item that you're going to be buying, or if there's one item you're looking to support you on your perimenopause journey, if one works for you, everybody should be taking Reclaim. I take Reclaim. My daughter, who's 15, as she gets closer to her cycle, she takes Reclaim as well if she's breaking out a little bit. So Reclaim is something that you can give your daughters and you can also take yourself. So one of the things I want to mention about Erin Wellness that makes us kind of unique, and this is how we did get on Dragon's Den, is we use QR codes. We are the only company, I think, in the world, I would say. It might be a pretty broad statement, but he uses QR codes. And I use these QR codes because what I understand is there is no magic pill. And as much as I would love to say all of this is going to change your life, I really wanted to make sure when we did this product line that we're supporting women and empowering women. That's where we really get that slogan, because how does a vitamin company empower women with holistic health? It's really by giving them the tools and strategies to be able to make the changes in their life to live a sustainable healthy and well life. So in here, we have a 60-minute video, 60-second video, 60-minute would be a long time, 60-second video where I explain the ingredients. 2 meal plans. They're beautifully done. They're 2 7-day meal plans, vegan and non. We have information on PMS, hormone imbalance, tips you can do. We have affirmations in here. We have so much in here to support you. Every single product has a program. So if you're in Choices, please stop by, scan one of the QR codes and really look at the work that's in there, because it's a lot, but it's really important to me to be able to support the people who are buying the products so they can have a great, wonderful, vital life. So a recap, what is happening now? We really looked at what's going on now in our bodies with perimenopause. We understand that, estrogen, progesterone are starting to go down, how we can support ourselves, right? With stress support, nutrition, and movement. And then really looking at supplements to support that. That's the key kind of takeaways for tonight. So I welcome you. Oh my goodness, gee whiz. Sorry, I have this old slide up here. I apologize. I just came back from the seminar. I welcome you. I'll go back. I welcome you to follow us. So you can follow us on Erin Wellness at Erin Wellness on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. All these wonderful different areas to follow us on for social media. And you can also follow me, Erin Bella Ashley, and also the Friends You Keep podcast. So I welcome you to follow us on all those. And I believe that is any questions. I don't know if we want to open up. I don't know if we can have questions. I think we can.
Yes, we can. They're
okay,
just
there we go.
yeah. There's a bit of a lag with the live stream, so
okay.
Let's just wait a little bit to see if any questions come through. But yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. That was very informative.
Oh, thank you. I hope people got something from it.
I think so. I learned a lot, so.
Good. There you go. That's all that matters. But I will say all the products are available at Choices. And so if you have any questions, Choices has an incredible team that work in their stores. So head in and you can ask them about them and which product would be best for you. Or you can ask me here.
I'm not getting any questions coming through. So that means you explained everything perfectly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. This live stream will be available to rewatch on our YouTube channel if you need to revisit anything. And yeah, you can always come and speak to our wellness department or contact Erin with the information she provided.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Thank you so
much.
Thanks.